A very good evening to all of you. I hope all of you are doing well, staying safe, and keeping healthy. Welcome to the 81st session of CENTA's webinar series for teachers. Today's session, as you all know, is going to focus on the theme of making thinking visible. Like every week, today's facilitator is a very, very special person, Dr. Meenakshi Nerula. Good evening, Meenakshi ma'am.
Good
Uh,
evening, Mr. Karthik.
Uh, I'll quickly introduce Meenakshi, ma'am. Associated with the arena of education and igniting young minds since 2001, Dr. Meenakshi Nerula is a multifaceted, versatile person who has command in teaching logistics of science, the nitty-gritty of language, and the technical concepts of IT, while also focusing on sustainable development goals. Work is worship for her, and learning is a passion. She passionately believes that learning should not be confined to oneself, but rather should be shared, and that's also the first step to humanity. Whatever she learns or explores, she makes sure that she shares it with others through her social media channels, through her Facebook pages, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Uh, she also conducts various community outreach programs to reach the unreached, as she calls it, by conducting workshops and summer programs for government school students as well as teachers. She's been a recipient of numerous awards, such as the Rashtriya Shiksha Ratna. She's been a Global Teacher Awardee. She's won the most innovative and engaging teacher award, the Digital Principal Award, the Superwoman Award, Excellence in Pedagogy Teaching during the pandemic, Outstanding Principal of the Year Award, and so on. And also, what's really wonderful. What's really wonderful is the fact that she's been a My Center community member for over 6 years now, and she was one of the top national rank holders in 2015, which was the first ever edition of the Center Teaching Professionals Olympiad. Fantastic to have you with us, Meenakshi ma'am. It's really an honor, and I can already see 500 teachers from across the country have joined us live, and I'm expecting more to join us soon. Just before you start, a very quick announcement, and those of you who have been joining our webinars regularly would already know the drill, but for the benefit of those who are joining us for the first time, please fill in the feedback form that will be shared during the session. We'll be sharing a feedback form in the live chat section at 5:45, which is 45 minutes from now. So please fill that in to get your record of participation tomorrow. In case you are having any issues with filling in the feedback form during the or from the live chat section, not a problem. Let the session get over. Please go to My Center, which is the place that you use to register for the session, which is m.center.org from your mobile browser. You'll find the feedback form there. Please fill it in by 9 p.m. today, and you'll get your record of participation tomorrow. But that is very important. So that's pretty much it from my side. Meenakshi ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Karthik, and thank you, CENTA, the Center for UC Teacher Accreditation. This is a wonderful platform that here I would be able to interact with a number of teachers throughout country and even abroad, throughout the world, I would like to say, and would like to share our thoughts through this YouTube. We can chat with each other. We can have each our other's thoughts, and such a wonderful platform. Begin today's presentation. One and all who are listening to me, myself, Dr. Meenakshi Nerula, teaching since 2001 and coordinating and now working as a principal, but I am an educator by heart, an educator by chance, and I keep on exploring number of tools, and here is a great platform to share the same with all of you. Before we begin with today's session, I want all of you to just ping in the chat, what do you know about it when we are talking about making thinking visible, or anything that comes to your mind, like what do you know about it? So I keep my eye on the chat box. Let me see how many of you are sharing your thoughts about making thinking visible. Let's see, and then we will begin our session. I'm just checking the chat. Yeah, involving students, thinking out of the box, act, what do you think? Innovative thinking process, engaging students, imagination, learning through hands-on experience, audio-visual learning, tickling, to say the gray areas, applying idea, visualizing, how to think properly, It means critical thinking, brainstorming, activities, experiential learning, wonderful, wonderful thoughts. I mean, you are sharing, developing skills. Okay, okay, great. Right. Now, please, another thing I would like you to type in the chat, what are you expecting me to share with you? What do you want to know in today's session? Need based activities. Yeah, you want to explore the activities. Yes. Various creative skills, ideas through which we can foster critical thinking in our children, innovative ways of brainstorming. Yeah, virtual activities, how to make thinking visible, tools for stimulation. Yeah, creative teaching techniques, strategies to implement visible thinking. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, all of you. Now, this practice that we are doing right now, this is also one of the technique to make thinking visible. You see, here I am getting to know something out of you, like what is going on in your mind, what exactly you know about it, and what you want to know. What are your expectations? Like what I will be discussing with you all today. So, without further ado, let us start our session on making thinking visible. So, here, I guess my screen is visible, Mr. Karthik. Just give me a go ahead. So, here, making thinking visible. I hope everybody is able to see my screen. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging. So, making thinking visible. What comes to our mind when we think making thinking visible? What and how we can make it visible? Is it something that we can see with our eyes? No. Something obviously that we can observe, we can perceive, we can get to know, yes, our students, they are learning something, at what level they are, and we can foster, we can enhance their learning, right? So here, this is me already. A lot many things have been shared about me. Thanks, Mr. Karthik. Something, some brief about me he has already shared. So do not want to waste time about it. But here I would like to talk. Let us think. Now, what we have to think. Are we robbing our students of the opportunity to think? Really in our classes? Yes and no. Are we giving them some chance to think, or we are just pouring them a lot of knowledge, lot of content to them in, I mean, in our classes, whatever we are teaching, sciences, social sciences, mathematics. I mean, do we give them some opportunity to think, or we just load them? I would like to say overload them content and knowledge. We, whatever we read, the content from the books, right? We just regurgitate, we just share with our children, and they mug up everything, and then the same thing they just vomit out in the examination. They get brilliant marks, they pass with flying colors, and they move on to the next class. Now, where has the thinking happened? Have we ever thought about it? Are we preparing ourselves to teach this today's, to see 21st century learners? Most of us, if we just think about it, are teaching the way we have been taught. We are using all the same strategies to teach in our school, right? So this is happening with most of us, because we, though, let me tell you, first of all, I would like to say, certainly hats off to the teaching fraternity. We all have been observing this great serendipity in the field of education. We have been, like, if I would say, chalk to styler, or maybe a classroom to a Zoom room, we have been, I mean, we have been gone through a lot of this transition phase. Lot of things we have learned. Yes, we are updating, we are upgrading ourselves, we are upskilling ourselves. But just think, moving from a classroom, a room with four walls, to a Zoom room, or using this virtual platform, any of the platform we use, Google Meet, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, whatever we use. Now, this is just a substitution. We were not having any other opportunity. We were not having any other option. What could we do? We had to switch to this platform. We learned a lot, we explored a lot. Now, maybe it was by chance or it was by choice. We have learned, we have explored a lot. Maybe for some, this was an opportunity to learn. Maybe for some, this was just any only one option to earn bread and butter. We learned a lot. But let me tell you, this is just a substitution. Like, we have to reach to that level where we have to just incorporate various teaching strategies too in our class. We have to give them various options. Let the thinking visible, let thinking come over here, let it float, let the children will be able to think and share their ideas. Now, you see, sometimes it happens, we teachers, because we got a lot of stress, we had to learn a lot, we had to explore a lot. Most of us were not able to even manage taking the online classes. See, we even learned from our students too, most of the time. Just ping in the chat box, has it happened with you, like maybe your children learned even before you have explored that very particular tool? Has it ever happened? Do share in the chat. Maybe it happened like you were not aware, the students, they taught you, yes ma'am, this is a particular option, a particular tool that you will be able to use. Has it happened with you? Just ping in the chat if that has happened with you. Just type yes or no. Yeah. Yes, it happened with many. Yes. So here you go. If I talk about that, we are learning from our students too. They are far, far advanced. They are so quick to learn. They are so quick to think. But we are depriving them of the opportunity to think. How? Just give you one instance. Just think for a moment, as and when you ask any question to your students in a class, how much wait time, that is called the pause time, you give to your students? Can you just mention, like, how much time do you give to your students, or you just quickly move on, move on? Yes? Do you? Okay. Do we give at least 15-20 seconds of pause time? Or it happens like, I'm going to say, if I have just posed a question and I do not pause for a few seconds, and when I notice maybe some another child has raised the hand, maybe nowadays virtually on this virtual platform, and I give the opportunity to that very child. Most of the time we ignore some of the students. We do not ask them. We think, okay, because our class is going to be over already, a normal 40 minutes class schedule has been reduced to 30 minutes on this virtual platform. We have reduced the duration to reduce the screen time. We are not able to give opportunity to all our students. So let us think about it. Maybe on rotation basis, we need to give opportunity to speak, opportunity to think to all our children. Now, how we can give that? Why is making thinking visible important? I want all of you to just check this image that is being displayed on the screen and type in the chat, what do you think about it? Is it making you ponder over something, giving you the pause time now? Yeah, let me check the chat so that I can just see. Yeah. What does it make you think? Yes. Yeah, we hardly give time. Slide statement is not clear to some. Yes. Okay. Now please check once again. Yeah, the teacher has taught, but it's not necessary that the children they have learned. Who bothers? Do we really bother? Or we are just, even after completing our syllabus? Yes, we need to complete our syllabus. That's it. Here in this picture, there are two children who are talking to each other. If you are not able to see the words clearly, let me share the same with you. I mean, two children are talking to each other. One is explaining, I have taught my dog how to whistle. Another one asked, but I don't hear him whistle. And then the first one replied, I said, I taught him. I didn't say he learned it. Yes, this is a communication gap. Nowadays, when we are talking about like there is some learning gap, everywhere you might have heard about this term learning gap. When we are talking, yes, the children, they were not able to continue their education on this virtual platform, maybe because they were not having devices. Maybe there were three children at home, they were having one device. Maybe they were residing in a remote area where there was no or maybe low internet connectivity. Maybe they were suffering some, long power cuts. They were not able to continue on this virtual platform. And then we talk about there is a learning gap. Before they move on to the next class, we all talked about bridge classes. There should be some bridge classes so that those children who were deprived of the opportunity to learn, they at least could get some basic knowledge of the content so that they should be able to cope up in the next class with the peer group. This was our objective. Now, there is a term, learning gap, but I am going to talk about another term as well. There is a term, teaching gap. Is there some teaching gap too? That even we do not realize most of the time. Most of the time, when in our classes we have been told this is the syllabus that we need to cover in our class in this very particular time, and then our almanac shows in this very month we will be having unit test 1, unit test 2, and then midterm exams, and then our pre-board, and then pre-board 1, pre-board 2, and then final examination. I mean, these kind of list when we see, and a number of activities too. Obviously, the school calendar, starting from, we start our session in the month of April, start with, the health week, and then in other festivals, the religious celebrations, then the Earth Day is there, right? And number of environment day, number of another, and so on. The list goes on and on and on, and we think like there are so many things to be done, and we just rush with the syllabus. We just go to the class. We, okay, this is the chapter number 1 that we are going to do. This is so, and so topic that we are going to talk, maybe, see, I'm just giving you one example. Suppose I'm going to my class, I'll say, okay students, today we'll be talking about nutrition. What is nutrition? And even we say what is nutrition, and immediately we only come up with the answer. We do not even wait. We do not have time to pause. And then obviously we compare between the different sections also, whose syllabus is done, whose syllabus is lagging behind. We keep on thinking about all those things. We even do not bother whether the children have learned, whether they grasp or not. Or even if we check, definitely maybe many of you would answer like, yes, when we take UTs, when we take periodic test, when we take our final examination, when the students, they write the answers, suppose I have taught what is the meaning of nutrition, and the child has written in the test what is the meaning of nutrition, and the child has got good marks. This is the test of the knowledge. This is making the child's learning visible. So I'm so sorry, this is not the way of making thinking visible. That is not the proof like the child has learned. The child may have mugged up the content. So here you go. This I want to talk about what is making thinking visible, how we can do it. So it means an enhanced role of the teachers. We are not just there to share the content. As they become more reflective, we have to be more reflective. We have to be more evaluative of what? Of our own pedagogy, the way we are teaching. Yes, the way we are teaching, the way we need to go about it. We need to see how we are teaching to our students. We need to evaluate the process. We need to manage the time. I know there are number of activities, number of schedule that I have already mentioned, like number of things in a tight, packed schedule. It becomes very difficult for us, but we need to learn those ways to make the thinking learning visible. We need to change our pattern of teaching. For that, I would like to tell you one thing. Gone are the days when the teacher was known as a sage on the stage. This you might have heard number of times on a plethora of platforms. Now we are saying teachers, they are the facilitators. We started saying, then came an era when we started saying the teachers are the facilitators, they are the guides on the sides. Let the children do. Now let me tell you, this statement has been changed. The teachers are not only the guides, not only the facilitators, the teachers are the co-learners. Education 5.0 says, the teachers should be the researchers. They have to be the co-learners. We know the content, but we should know how to teach also. And most of the time, you might have, just think about it, just introspect, just think about it. Even at your home, your own children, they ask you number of questions, and most of the time you don't have answers to all those questions. And even sometimes we say, just leave it. That's not a relevant question. How can we judge that very particular question is relevant or irrelevant? Yes. When we don't have an answer, then we say, yeah, this question is irrelevant. We have to be the researchers. We have to be the co-learners. If we do not know anything, we have to admit, yes, we will research this. You also do, I'll do, and we will discuss. Yeah, very well said in the chat box. Somebody has mentioned the teachers, they had the collaborators. Yes, certainly. We are observing a paradigm shift. We are observing a great serendipity on this, in this virtual platform in the field of this education. Yeah. Yes, I'm just going through the chat as well so that I should also feel connected with all of you. It should not be like that it's me only who is speaking. So here this is making thinking visible. Visible doesn't mean that is just visible to our eyes, that we observe, that actually acts as a platform for us, where we will be able to teach our students, where we'll be able to get to know. Like making thinking visible, it is not actually a program or a framework, it is visible. How come it is visible? It is the goal of teaching, as well as the practices that we follow to reach that goal. So let us all try our level best to make the thinking visible in our classes. Now, how we are going to do it? We need to follow some of the strategies for it. Now, what all strategies we will be following? Different strategies for making thinking visible. Yeah, teachers will be the mindful learners. Yes. Strategies, certainly, Deepa ma'am, I'll be sharing some of the strategies too. Yes. Now, first of all, the first strategy I would like to talk about is questioning. Let them question. You also ask them question. Now, what kind of questions do we need to ask our students? It's not I'm asking about asking questions from the textbook only. No. When we are thinking about making thinking visible, actually thinking is obviously an internal process and something that happens in the working of an individual mind. As such, it seems so mysterious. Like, how come thinking when something is happening in my mind, how can I make it visible? Yes, I can, as you all did in the beginning of the session. When you shared your thinking in the chat box, like what you are observing, what is the current level of your knowledge about making thinking visible, and what is your expectation. We can also get the same thing done with our students. What we did initially is it was KWL. What do you know? What do you want to know? What do you have learned during this session? You did have written the chat box, what do you know? Then you wrote, what do you want to know? And then maybe at the end of this session, you would be sharing what you have learned something new today. Or maybe you already know that you have revised it today. And maybe a set of questions too. So this is also making thinking visible routine, KWL. So here when we are talking about questioning, you see, questions, they not only drive thinking and learning, they are actually the outcome of it, right? As we engage with the new ideas, okay, and then develop the new understanding, the new questions they emerge. And how many of you agree with the statement, judge a person by the questions he or she asks rather than by his answers? Yes. Yeah. I mean, if I'm asking one question, okay, to a class, I'm just sharing the question, and the children, they all are replying. Maybe they have learned it or what, they have crammed it. It may happen. But certainly, yeah, questions build inquiry, agree. Most of you are agreeing with that. Yes, judge by the type of the questions our children, our students, they ask these kind of questions, as they only reveal a person's real depth of understanding as well as the engagement with the topic, right? So there are number of strategies to ask a question, number of strategies. Usually we say, okay, what is beauty and truth, right? When we talking about I will be talking about number of strategies when we will be talking about thinking routines, right? So, and the wonderful question that I would like to say here, it is WMUST, what makes you say that? Ask your questions, your students a question, what makes you say that? If you have asked any question, your children, your students, they are replying, do not ask them what is the reason for that. Otherwise they may think exactly what is the reason. Maybe you have asked any multiple choice question, you have given four options to your children, they have picked up one option. If it is right, if it is correct, what will you do? You will say wonderful, great, and you move on to the next question. Have you ever asked, how come this particular option is the correct answer? Like if the child has said option A is correct, okay, fine. Next student, next question. Next student, next question. And if that is wrong, if the child has said, okay, A option and the correct option would be B, then what will you do? Maybe you will give chance to another question, and that student's turn is over. You will not give chance to that student to even just think about it. How come that particular option that has been shared by the child is wrong? Why that option is wrong? And even if that is correct, you should ask your student what makes you say that. Even if, let's take one example. Like suppose if I generally this is coming to my mind right now, if we are asking our students, the plants, they are autotrophs or they are heterotrophs, right? And if a child replies they are autotrophs, do not ask how come they are autotrophs. Ask what makes you say that. What is going on behind? I mean, in your mind, how come you have replied? So, yes, very good. The reasoning certainly is must. Yes, all of you are replying, yeah, we need to justify, not only to justify the answer, but we need to just tell like what is going on in our mind to justify your answer that you are sharing. Not exactly maybe that is written in our textbook, but what is going on in your mind. Maybe right, maybe wrong. Please do give a chance to your students to answer. Suppose if a child replies wrong to any of the question, then also you should ask, what makes you say that? Maybe that will give a chance to you to think about your teaching. Maybe you will get to know, I'm not able to make my children clear this concept. I maybe need to teach it again in some another manner. As is rightly said, if the students, they are not able to understand the way you teach, then you need to teach the way they understand. You all must be knowing most of the things about multiple intelligences. We are having different kinds of intelligences. So let us teach our students the way they understand. So now another strategy for that, okay, before that, let us all play a game. May I request, sir, to please share the link in the chat box. This is a wonderful game. The link will be shared with you. Please think anything in your mind. It can be an object, it can be character, it can be anything. Sir is going to share the link in the chat. Please do play this game and it will. Yeah, sir has already shared. Okay, please do play this game. Think about any of the character, any of the object, and it will ask you questions to get the answer, to get to the right answer. Just I am giving you a minute to quickly let me see after how many questions you will be able to get the correct answer that is going on in your mind. Please do click on the link that has been shared in the chat. Is n.akinator.com, en.akinator.com. Let me see if even any one of you can try. Yeah, somebody saying, I have already played. Suvarna ma'am is saying, I have already played. So here, I'll just, actually I have shared a window. Let me see whether this is visible. So this is how I mean, you will be able to get this window, Akinator. Yeah, this window will appear when you will be clicking. Yeah, most of you are saying already played, and some of you are asking how to play. Yeah, you have to think about any of the character, okay, and then in your mind, and then you will be able to play this game, right? So you have to click on play. This play option is there. Click over here, play. Select the, like, either you are thinking about character, object, or animal. Maybe I'm thinking about an animal. Please do wait for the attendance link. The session is not yet over. We'll be sharing number of strategies too. So I'm just, because most of you are requesting how to play this game. Yeah, Pooja Bakshi ma'am is saying played, got the correct answer. Yeah, this is indeed interesting. Now, this is interesting, but you see how many types of questions are being asked, so that, I mean, he or this character is able to get to that very answer. So we let us give this chance to our students too, like they will be able to get the feeling of these questions. They can ask questions. They can actually let the thinking visible to you. Yeah, most of you have already played. Yeah, you may please try it later. Yeah, please you think about any animal and any object, and then you will be able to keep on answering those questions till you get the right answer that is going on in your mind. Okay, going back to our presentation, making thinking visible. So another strategy that is being used is listening. Listening. First was questioning, and another is listening. Now, if I talk about what is listening, what is listening? Is it just not talking? Is it so? When we do not speak, is it like that means we are listening? Is it so? No, it's not so. Listening is not merely not talking, it is actually taking a vigorous human interest in what is being told to us. I mean, when we take a lot of interest to what our students are saying, that is actually listening. Yes, so, I mean, even if we talk about the categories of listening, there are basically different kinds of listening. We'll be talking about empathetic listening. Empathetic, as the name suggests, empathy. When we want to listen to our students to know about their understanding, to know about their feelings, to know about their perspectives, that is called empathetic listening. And another one is educative listening. Now, how come it is educative listening? Educative listening is when we ask our students, like when we just listen to them to get to know the problems, the challenges that they are facing. So that is educative listening, right? So let me go to the next slide here. Empathetic listening, educative listening, and generative listening. When we listen to them and we help them generate different ideas, that is generative listening. So there are different categories. They are actually the levels of listening. First, when in our class, when the students they just start sharing their thoughts, we should give proper, you see, vigorous attention to our students. We should be empathetic, and then we should get to know what all challenges they are facing while thinking, while interpreting, right? And then comes to generative listening, when we listen so that we will be able to guide them to generate different kinds of ideas, right? That would be generative thinking. So these kind of listening strategies to be adopted by all of us, so that step by step we can go to that particular level to help our children generate various ideas. And the third strategy is documentation. Now, if I talk about documentation, what exactly documentation I mean to say? Is documentation, we are talking about the projects submitted by the students, the final project. maybe it is artifact, maybe it is the answer that is given by the students. Is it called documentation? Is it the proof of students learning, students thinking? No, it never happens most of the time. These final products, when we are talking about the project, the artifacts, the answers that are written in their answer sheets, they are not the proof of their, I mean to say, thinking visible. No. Where does the thinking reside? If it is not there in the answer sheet, if it is not there in the artifact, if it is not there in the project made by the student, then where does it reside? Yes. Yeah. Somebody's writing, yeah, anecdotes. Yes, we do maintain the anecdotes. Yes. Yeah. Where does it reside? It resides in the process, that messy maybe process of working through the ideas over time to reach the final project. Their thinking resides. I mean, we start our work on day one, we complete it on maybe on 100th day. The product that we got on 100th day, that will not reflect our thinking. That would be the process, how we moved on from day one to two and then reached day 100, how our thinking developed with the passage of time. We learned a lot, maybe from our own mistakes through the guidance. So this is how, you see, I mean to say, thinking is making visible. This is how we are making thinking visible. This is how we're doing it. Documentation is a wonderful way, just questioning, as we do listening, as we do documentation. Another wonderful strategy, that I mean to say, number of another strategies I would say that we are going to talk about today is actually thinking routines. There are number of thinking routines that we are going to discuss. You see, actually, I'll be sharing some of the thinking routines with you. Otherwise, even on one thinking routine, one full-fledged session can be taken. So here you go. Now, what exactly the thinking routines are? First of all, you should know that they are actually, you see, it is effort to capture the process, right? So it is how do we do that? These thinking routines, they are so very easy to use in our daily life. We can use it on a regular basis, thinking routines with our students. So I'll be sharing some of the thinking routines over here. And how come we will be using? There are three ways to use. Number one, as you can see on the screen, we can use them as tools. As we begin, we use them as the tools so that we can help the children to develop their thinking. And second is as a structure. Slowly and gradually, when we will become familiar with the strategy, then we will get to know this is actually a well framed structure. And then when we become expert, move from novice to expert level, move from beginner through intermediate to advanced level, then we get to know, like, these thinking routines, they have been fabricated into our classroom. They have become a part and parcel of our classroom. So this is how we'll be able to use them in our classes. There are various types of routines, as you can see on the screen. Routines either to introduce and explore ideas, routines for giving feedback to our students, routines for synthesizing and organizing various ideas in a group, right? And routines for self reflection, routines for digging deeper into ideas, routines for engaging with others. Now, here come the first routine that I'm going to share with you is see, think, wonder. See, think, wonder is a wonderful routine. If in your class You may show any object to your students that you are going to teach about. Suppose I am talking about, I'm going to talk about to my students about means of communication. Suppose I just show them a simple device. Okay, I'll say, okay, just see what is this. They will notice. They will notice it's a mobile and it's not. They will talk about this is a mobile device. They may be talking about the model. They may talk about the color. Whatever they notice, ask them to jot down on a piece of paper. And then later on, ask them, move on to the next step. Think. Just think about it. What all things are going on? What do you think is happening? And then what are you wondering about? What is there some any questions in your mind about it? What do you want to know more about it? They may come up with different questions. Somebody would ask, I do not know what model is this. I do not know how does it work. I'm wondering whether it is touch screen or not. I'm wondering whether it is having a pen facility or not. Maybe it is a note. Maybe it is some another mobile, another model. So maybe any kind of questions they may come about it. So these kind of strategies you should adopt in your class. So here is a short, just crisp 1 minute video. I'm just going to play, maybe less than that. Just watch it. See now, in this strategy, what did you see? The children, they were shown a picture like, what do you see? They saw some people, they were there. Just what do you see? Just, and what do you think? Might be they are scared, might be they are going to jump, might be they are going to do like that or whatever. Maybe they are waiting for somebody else is coming from backside, they are waiting for someone. And then what are you wondering about? So these kind of question, you may give any kind of picture to your students to wonder about. That can be done in any subject. You can give some picture compositions in English, some events that have happened maybe in the past in history. Maybe you can give some data to interpret in mathematics. So this is how you will be able to use that strategy. See, okay, see, think, wonder. And another strategy that is there in front of you on the screen is, I used to think but now I think. Maybe earlier I used to think making thinking visible is let the children think in groups, and now I realize no, actually it is a step by step process. It is not only for the student, it includes listening as well. It includes questioning as well. It includes a process of documentation. I maybe earlier used to think like making thinking visible is bringing a brilliant product in the classroom after the children work on it. But later I realized no, actually thinking doesn't reside in the product, it lies in that messy, that step by step process. Then I realized, so this is how you may also ask your student what you used to think and what do you think right now. So quickly going ahead, another strategy, think, puzzle, explore. Let your children think, show them any one object, like what do you think about it? Okay, suppose I'm having this mouse in my hand. I may show this object. Okay, I may ask my students like, what do you think about this? And they may say, think about it. Okay, let them think and jot down different words. Okay, it's a mouse. Okay, and how does it work or whatever. And then puzzle, what puzzles you? Maybe some children who are not aware, like this is a Bluetooth mouse, they may ask, where is the cable? How will you attach it? I'm wondering about it. And then let them explore. How will they explore? Like, to come to that answer for what they are puzzling about, what all things they need to explore. They may need to, they may talk about maybe different sources. They may talk about library, Google and all. They may talk about different topics. Like they have to read about different parts of the computer. Maybe they talk about the software also. They get to know how does it work. I mean, let them share, like how come they are using, how, I mean, they have to think. This is our objective. And another strategy that we have been using even past many years to think, pair, share. Maybe we did not realize, unintentionally we are doing number of strategies too in our class. Sometimes we may ask our children, okay, you have to think. We, okay, everybody thinks on their own, and then we let them pair and then share their thoughts with the pair. And then when they finalize their document, when they see, okay, I have written this, I have written this, and then they can discuss with each other. This is talking about 21st century learning skills, all four C's: creativity, communication, critical thinking, collaboration. Everything is happening. They are sharing with other groups too. So everything is happening over here, all 21st century learning skills. Question sorts. You may ask them to come with various kinds of questions. Now, how questions? Let them refine their question at each step, slowly and gradually. Initially, they may come up with simple questions. Start with WH questions: what, why, how, where, when, and slowly and gradually bring them to situation based question, application based question. Let them make some brilliant questions. And for these strategies, I have already shared one link, one game link with you, like how you can develop and ask about different aspects, right? So we already, this is a kind of dam charade that we used to play. Even our children, they we already used to have a lot of fun. So another thing is color, symbol, image. Somebody is asking questions, and your questions would be responded, right? And sir is also taking care of it. We will be replying to all your questions. This is a wonderful strategy: color, symbol, image. If you have taught anything in your class, right? And this can be done as an exit ticket activity as well. You may ask your children in the last 2 minutes, in the last 3 minutes, like, okay, quickly, everybody, whatever we have learned today, right? You have to, we'll be doing CSI, and what is coming in their mind after reading? Maybe I have learned about footprint without feet. Maybe I have learned a chapter, the dark room. Okay, the dark room. And after that, if anybody asks me, like, you have to go through CSI activity, and then I may draw something for that color. It may be black for me, that reminds me of black color when we are talking about dark. Symbol, any symbol that reminds me, I'll be able to draw the symbol. And then any image that comes to me, my mind, or maybe something happened with me, I mean, at some place during some time, I will be able to draw that. This is how we'll be able to make connections. So this routine asks the students to identify, distill the essence of the ideas from reading, from watching, from listening, actually in a non-verbal manner, right? To present their ideas. So this, we are all doing it. Stop light, we call it traffic light activity as well. Okay, and this routine, it focuses on the students, on the science of puzzles of truth, allows for quick assessment. Let them go for truth, like the topics they have understood, they have not understood, they need to list them out. So this is how we can go for this strategy. And this I've already shared with you. What makes you say that? This is a routine that we have already discussed in while talking about questioning. Sentence, phrase, word. Ask your students to give the answer in different ways. Maybe, okay, quickly, what we have, I want all of you, what we have learned today, what we have discussed today with each other over here, if you can give one word, if you can give one phrase, if you can give one sentence, as it is there on your screen, try it yourself, and then you will enjoy it, and then you will be making your students also enjoy. Here it is written like as one word: fail up, Phrase is strength in numbers. Sentence is written no snowflakes. Feel responsible for. I mean, this is related to a particular chapter that is being done, right? Any word that captured your attention. When we talked today, in today's session, any word that caught your attention that I have used, any one phrase that I used and you have remembered it, any one sentence that you really liked, please do type in the chat box. Let me also go through it. Yes, somebody is writing 21st century teaching strategies. Yes, yes, yeah, yes. Please do mention any one of the words, sentences. Yeah, see, think, wonder, strategies, color, symbol, image. Yeah, yes, thinking step by step. Yeah, what makes you say that? 4 C's, strategies. So this is how you may ask your children, come up with any one word, come up with the phrase that you still remember. Let them think, and let me tell you, everybody will come up with different words as per their intelligence, as per, I mean, their liking, as per their interest. So these are the number of strategies, and here it's tug of the war. This is another routine that builds on children's understanding with the game tug of war. Help them see the complex forces that tug at either side of a fairness dilemma. Demonstrate that not all dilemmas are black and white. Let them discuss. Let them discuss. Actually, this routine fosters positive debate, communication. When we say agree to disagree, let them know agree to disagree. Yes. So here, the last thinking routine that I'm going to share with you for today is headlines. A routine for capturing the heart of the matter. This routine helps our students capture the key points being studied. Let them make some headlines over there. Nowadays, you see, you all are having wonderful, lovely digital tools. You have Padlet, you have Poplet, you have number of wonderful platforms. You can go for word cloud generator, you can go for Mentimeter, you can go for, I mean, number of digital tools are there where you can collaborate and they can share their thoughts. Yeah, MNR Academy, what something you are sharing. I'm just going to end my presentation and then we'll be taking your query. So this is all from my side. Thank you all of you for this wonderful response. Thank you, Mr. Karthik, for this wonderful opportunity on this platform. So would like to thank you, all of you, once again. And now we can take up any questions if they are. So, right, I'm just stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a fantastic session. And yes, we already have a few questions,
Yes.
but we only have a couple of minutes, so it's very likely that we'll have to stretch the session by a few minutes.
So,
But just before we take the questions, we've shared the feedback from multiple times in the chat, so please, fill that in. So there's a question from Ms. Deepa Muktan, and I'm just gonna pin it, and she's saying that she's confused between symbol and image. If you could clarify.
yeah, there is a difference between a symbol and an image. Image is right now, as you can see us, you can see any kind of pictures and all. Symbols is when we used to draw any kind of symbols, like triangle is a symbol of that, square, circle, any kind of shapes that the children they can easily draw. So image is, you see, something that maybe comes to our mind, we can visualize, we can draw that. So this is how there is a difference between symbol and image.
And there's a question from Mr. Johnny CSN. Johnny sir is a regular attendee of all our webinars. So he's asking, a classroom is a heterogeneous group of students with differing thinking capacities. How can we ensure that everyone develops the capacity to think independently and differently?
Yeah, sir. Actually, it's a wonderful question, and everywhere it is like that. This classroom is a heterogeneous group, and I would like to say, when you are going for think, pair, share activity or any kind of this grouping activity is done, we have to make sure like we are making certainly the heterogeneous group, and there is a difference between collaboration and cooperative learning. Right, when we are talking about collaboration, in that maybe in a group there are 5 children, one is not doing anything and they're they are just presenting their work, and here everybody is not given a proper chance. When we are talking about cooperative learning, everybody is given a different task and they have to do on their own, and this is how we can foster their learning and their involvement in the class.
Sure. There's a question from Ms. Madhu Mohan, and she's asking where can she find details of the thinking routine. So she's basically looking for resources to learn further.
Yeah, see, there are number of resources. Even if you can go and google it, you can even go and explore number of these routines. Even if you google, even if you check on youtube, even if you type these strategies, if you type see think wonder, you will be able to get number of options how you will be able to use think puzzle explore. Number of videos would be available. Today I could not show all the things with you, but certainly right now I'll be sharing some of another artificial intelligence gamification links that I've shared one with sir. I'll be just putting in the chat and he will be sharing with all of you. Right.
Sure, sure. And there's a question from Ms. Nandini M, and it's very specific to visual arts, and she's checking for visible thinking strategies for visual arts.
See, all the strategies when we are talking about, they are related to something, somewhere visual arts also. When we talk about color, symbol, image, they are drawing the symbol, they are drawing the images. This is how it represents visuals.
Sure. And lots of thank you messages, of course. Um, and Vandana ma'am is saying that she follows similar routines in their school, which is Shirdi Sai School in Moradabad.
Great.
Uh, I can see we have a few friends who have joined us from Nigeria as well and Philippines. So uh, I'm sure that you all really liked the session and found this exercise quite productive. And Jasjeet Kaur ma'am has a comment, and so does Pravina Amalin ma'am. And Pravina ma'am is saying breakup rooms will help.
Hmm.
Or I think breakout rooms is what she meant. Uh, And Mr. Rohan Kapoor has a question, and we've covered parts of it during the session. And he's asking, how do we use thinking skills and differentiation strategy in online classrooms in remote learning environments?
See, these strategies, they can be wonderfully used on this remote environment as well. As I have shared, we have got a number of tools too. I mean to say, as right now, we did this KWL that I have not shared in these strategies. KWL is what do you know, what do you want to know, what you have learned. We did it during this session only. We started with that only in our chat box. So you can use your chat box. You can share various links for maybe Padlet. They are sharing their thinking. What I used to do is I used to create Padlet in different columns, and I used to share with the link in the chat. Okay, I say, okay, fine, you share your thoughts through this link. You may use Nearpod, you may use Peer Deck. Number of tools are available, and please use those tools when we are not available in the class physically.
Yeah. And Ms. Rekha Sharma has a question, and Rekha ma'am is asking, how should we go about using colored games or activities for math?
How can we use colored game or activities in maths? See, number of things, it depends upon the age group. Like when we are talking about the color game and activities, usually when we are talking about the younger children, pre-primary kids and all. So for that, the number of things are available. There is a website called preschool.in. Must pschool.in is pschool.in. Number of activities are available. Please go for it. It's P for parrot, pschool.in. Go for it. You can use it on, your mobile device. You can use it on laptop, desktop. Let your children play, and you'll be able to trace. A number of games are available when whatever you are talking about. All AI based games. Amazing.
Sure, sure. And wonderful to note that Farhanuddin sir and also Panna Gandhi ma'am that you're also using these strategies in your respective schools. Thanks a lot for letting us know that. And Jayanti ma'am has a thank you message for you, ma'am, and she's saying the session was very meaningful and it's very helpful for any teacher as well as mothers to develop their children's thinking better. Thank you, Senta.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you once again, ma'am. I think we've taken most questions, and thank you so much for agreeing to do this session. And I'm sure that we'll be requesting you to come back and do another session for us because we just had 1 hour, and there was like tons of things to cover. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to do another session with you in the coming weeks, and we'll really look forward to it. Uh,
Certainly, thank you. Thanks a lot. And even I would like to say thank you to all the listeners, and even I would like to say participants. They have participated, they have
thank
shared
you,
their thoughts, they have involved themselves. I mean, everything they are sharing. And I am fortunate to be at this platform interacting with you. Maybe I'm for thankful to God for this opportunity that I have got. And even I conduct sessions for the teachers as well, so that the teachers who cannot afford the expensive sessions, they can go for it. And I'm conducting maybe 3 sessions in a week. And so I mean, inspired by this center only. Yes.
thank you so much, ma'am. That's absolutely fantastic. And for those of you who are checking for the feedback form, we've shared the link again. You'll get your record of participation by noon tomorrow, so please fill that feedback form in. And I will see all of you on 24th of June, which is next Thursday, in which we will pick up the topic of entrepreneurship for kids, and how the spirit of entrepreneurship could be built in kids. And this would be facilitated by Miss Anupama Sharma, who did a fantastic session on augmented reality. For those of you who've been attending our sessions regularly, you will remember that she done a fantastic session on augmented reality sometime back. So Anupam Sharma, ma'am. So she's going to be facilitating the session. So the registrations are open on my center, again m.center.org, from your mobile browser. So that's where you need to go to register for the session. And as I always say, please like the video, share the video, and share it with your friends and colleagues. And we'll be reaching 10,000 subscribers very soon. So that's really all of your love and support. So please let that flowing, keep that flowing in. And and yes, I hope all of you take the necessary precautions. All of you keep safe, stay healthy, and and you have a wonderful week ahead. And we'll meet all of you on Thursday, 24th of June. Any parting message, Meenakshi ma'am?
Thank you, all of you. And please do keep on exploring plenty of tools. I mean, do not think, I mean, this is to say burden on you. Maybe taking the online classes, take this opportunity to grow. I have attended 1,000 plus sessions during this pandemic. Please, you also go for it and just groom yourself, groom your teaching. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am.